Hello everyone, welcome back to Eat, Sleep, Breathe. So today we're going to be covering a brand new product we recently received. It's not a new product on the market, but it's a new product we recently ordered. Now you may be asking yourself, what the heck can be in this big box? At least, if it may be multiple products, but what could it be if it's just one product? Well, for you guys that aren't aware, some of you aren't, or are aware, some aren't, but I do have a 130 gallon tank in my office. Now, this tank was set up a while ago. It's not new. It's probably going on 5-6 months. And just the skimmer that was on it was really underrated for the tank. It was actually the Cadlight, the TIA, I believe TIA 1 something. It just wasn't enough. The tank, I could tell, really needed more. Sure enough, when I went to go look at the specs of that skimmer, it was really rated for maximum of 75 gallons. So kind of to sum it all up, what would happen, it would export the bad stuff in the water, but there was just so much of it, it would actually get caught in the neck and would never make it up to the cup. The only stuff that would make it up to the cup was really nasty stuff, and trust me, I tried adjusting it, tried changing the water level, with really no luck whatsoever. So what we went ahead and did, we ordered the Aquamaxx Q2 skimmer. Now, I've heard great things about this skimmer. My neighbor actually personally has this skimmer, so I've got to see it firsthand, and based off what I've read, based off what I've been able to see on his tank, it looked like a beast. And of course, we all know Aquamaxx is known to produce great products, specifically when it comes to skimmers. So we're going to be doing today, guys, unboxing it, showing you guys how to put it together. Hopefully you guys enjoy. So we got here pretty much cracking everything open. When you do open a box, guys, and not just here with Marine Depot or anyone, or actually with anyone, anytime you do place an order, check the contents, make sure everything's there, make sure nothing got damaged or during shipping. Luckily here, they do great packing with it. It's very well packed, so I wasn't too worried, but sure enough, I checked, make sure there were no missing parts, and everything was good to go. So what we're going to do now is kind of take everything out of the boxes. We're going to go set it up in an area where I can kind of show you guys how to assemble it, maybe give you guys some quick tips for when you do order your own. One of the first things you are going to have, and you're probably going to need, is obviously the manual. With this video alone, you'll probably be able to put it together, but it surely helps a lot using the manual, because the manual does talk in detail of what part's what's the name of that part. Also kind of gives you some break-in techniques, what to look out for, troubleshooting, anything of that sort. Luckily, I'm going to give you guys the best break-in technique, not only for this skimmer, but for any skimmer you guys end up choosing down the road. So we're going to run down the manual. Like I said, if you don't want to use the manual, you can kind of just go off the video, and you should be fine just with that. So starting off here with the bubble plate, diffuser plate, whatever you want to call it, you're going to want to make sure there's a thumb screw right in the middle. You're going to want to make sure this is tight. On my unit, it was a little bit loose. Not that there would have been any issues, but over time, if it is a little bit loose, what can happen is you'll probably start getting noise from it, because it'll probably start vibrating. Not that it'll affect too much the performance, but obviously, we don't want any unnecessary sound. So just make sure you snug it up. And remember, guys, this is a plastic screw, so don't go crazy with torquing it down. You just want to make sure it's nice and snug. Before we do get on with the full assembly, I want to show you guys a Cice pump that Aquamaxx does use on pretty much all their skimmers. For you guys that don't know, Cice is a company in Italy that's very well known for their pumps. They're very efficient, very quiet. Most importantly, they're long lasting. So here, obviously, this is a needle wheel pump. It creates tons of air that I really wouldn't be worried with whatsoever. What you're looking for in a skimmer is a needle wheel that can surely produce a lot of bubbles, move a lot of water, because what that's going to translate is obviously more nutrients being exported from your tank, more of the proteins, more of the bad stuff. Obviously, that's what we're getting a skimmer for, so it's very nice that Aquamaxx did go above and beyond and pretty much gave you the top of the line when it comes to pump. One thing I do want to mention, on my specific pump, on my specific order, one of the inlets here, you can see there's two inlets for air. One of them is actually plugged with a little rubber piece. Mine was flying in the box somewhere. I almost threw it away. But I'm not sure why they do two air inlets. I'm assuming they use the same pump for a bigger skimmer that is using two inlets. One of the inlets was actually broken, and you can see here it's clearly broken. But I fixed it very easily. I have a drill press. You can use a drill bit. You pretty much find a similar hole, get the little white piece out of it, and then the piece that broke off that was in the box, you just kind of use coral glue to get it in there. Another option is you can plug up the hole with coral glue. You're never going to need it, not for this skimmer. So you can plug it up with that, with silicone. I wouldn't be worried. Like I said, I wasn't about to contact Aquamaxx to send it back for something I could fix on my own, and it literally took me about 2 minutes to fix. So just want to give you guys a heads up. Don't expect this with every order, but as we all know, UPS, FedEx, they love throwing stuff around. So nothing to blame on Aquamaxx. Surely it was shipping. One of the most important things that you're going to notice right off the bat is really the tunability of this skimmer. It has a knob on the side that you can make really fine adjustments. It's really reactive. Obviously, I've used it now, so it responds very quickly. I love it. It's very smooth, operates great, and really no complaints. Another nice thing you can see here on the top, there is a seal for the collection cup. Very nice, the whole locking mechanism for the collection cup. Very smart of them. You're not going to get any leaks through here. More importantly, I love the huge opening on the skimmer. Anytime I do need to clean it, you can see I can put my whole hand in there. And anytime I do need to do maintenance, it just makes it so much easier. One of the following steps to get going, you're going to want to remove the venturi here to the pump. Without it, you're not going to be able to slide the body back on. So make sure you remove this, before you get going. Because like I said, if you don't, you're not going to be able to get it back. And the venturi, it's very interesting. It's a press fit. Pretty much the venturi is the gray part. The black part is actually going to stay on the pump. So just be aware of that, because if not, you're never going to, you'll see when you're assembling it, you're like, how the heck do I get this on? And once you're done with that, you want to make sure you remove the screws on the bottom, because that's going to allow you to detach the main body from the base plate. Once you are done removing the base plate, you're going to kind of be left with it here. You're also going to notice on the base plate, there's two little screws that actually hold the pump in place. Make sure you loosen them so you can get the pump, and be sure that the pump is facing the opposite way of the adjustment screw. I don't know if that makes sense. Just kind of look at it how I'm assembling it here. Just make sure the venturi side of the pump is kind of facing the shorter side of the base plate, just like you see here. Once you get the pump here, obviously as you can see, I've already installed the bubble plate. The bubble plate is press fit, and you can go ahead and tighten the screws here that hold the pump down. Now again guys, these are plastic screws, so don't go crazy with it. You just want to get it nice and snug so it's not wiggling everywhere. You'll kind of see how it fits. Another important thing is going to be to guide the wire. You're going to notice that on the base plate, there's a guide for the wire on the left side. If you're looking at it like I am here in the video, you want to make sure you run the wire through there, because if not, you're not going to be able to get the skimmer to sit nice and flush. So it took me a little bit of tinkering. This is how I found out that the venturi is the gray piece that's actually supposed to be disconnected. But in here you can see, after fibbling around, I figured it out. The black piece actually stays on the pump itself. You lock that in, you twist off the venturi. Guys, be sure when you are twisting off the venturi that you don't break off the inlet for the air, because you don't want to put any pressure on that. It's very easy to break it. So just make sure you grab the whole venturi itself, which again is the gray piece, slide it off, install the black cover on the pump itself like you see here in the video. If you don't do it like this, you'll figure it out, because there's no way you're going to be able to install the venturi once you have the body on the skimmer. Once you're happy with the fit, how everything's nice and tight, so we don't get any rattling, any vibrations. Be sure you get the body. Before you get the body, guys, make sure you're routing the wire through that little cutout. And pretty much it's very simple here. Start screwing down the screws. Don't tighten one completely. Just get one to hold on, and do the other one before you flip it over. Because if you flip it over, this thing's going to be flying everywhere. So try and do it as I'm doing it here, so again the body isn't flying everywhere, and it just makes it a little bit easier. So once you do have the body screwed on like you see here, it's not wiggling, not going anywhere, you can grab the venturi, and again guys, this is press fit. Just press it in. It doesn't matter what way it goes, so don't be too crazy with that. Just a nice press fit, and that should be good to go. Now would be a good time to install the silencer. Assembling of the silencer is very simple. It does have a plastic screw as well that's going to attach to the body of the skimmer. Just make sure you get that nice and snug. Don't over tighten it. Make sure you install the yellow air hose, first going to the silencer, and then the opposite end of that going to the venturi. Now guys, remember, make sure that the second hole of the venturi is plugged, because if not, it's going to be pulling in water and it's not going to be pretty much making any bubbles. So just make sure that that's taken care of. Now, believe it or not, with the assembly of the skimmer, we're pretty much done. As you can see, it's very simple. One thing you are going to want to do is grab the silicone drain for the collection cup. You can go ahead and install it. Also, be sure that you get the little plug that goes with it, because last thing you want to do is getting all the skimmate out and pretty much having everything fall back into your tank. Now, installing the collection cup is actually very easy. There's 4 little slots for it, you know, where it goes in. You can see them here. Also, one thing I love about this collection cup is a huge handle it has on it. It makes it so much easier for maintenance. So pretty much to get it, twist it on counterclockwise. Clockwise. Now guys, don't go crazy with it. Last thing you want to do is break it. Just nice and snug, and that'll take care of it. So once you are done, this should be the final product you're looking at. One thing you're going to notice right off the bat is this thing is an absolute beast of a skimmer. I can almost put my whole head in the collection cup. From the looks of it, it looks like an animal. I'm really loving this bubble plate, loving the C-shape pump. It looks like it's going to be a great skimmer, you know, from the looks of it. So really can't wait to test this thing out. So one of the tips I'm going to recommend for everyone out there, I don't care if it's this skimmer, a nano skimmer, whatever skimmer from this point forward you ever purchase. The best thing you can ever do to this skimmer to break it in, number one, get a bucket, get some warm water. Tap water is perfectly fine. You don't need to do RODI. You can if you want, but you don't need to. Actually, I really don't prefer RODI. Why? Because our tap water has chemicals that will remove grease. Anytime you're working with acrylic or any plastics, there's what they call release oils on these plastics for the molds to release. And it's very natural. If you do put it in the tank, you're not going to kill anything. But tap water with warm water. And also the last key point is vinegar. So what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to put the mix up that concoction. You don't need a lot of vinegar, guys. I wouldn't do 50-50. I'd probably do, you know, for this whole 5-gallon bucket, maybe half to 1 cup of vinegar. So you don't need a lot. What you're going to want to do, leave it running for, I don't know, I'd say probably a good 2 to 3 hours. What that's going to allow the skimmer to do is to break in, get all the oils off. So when you do install it in the tank, it literally starts skimming within the first 30 minutes. When it comes to placing the skimmer in the sump, you obviously want to choose an area that has enough space for the skimmer, preferably in the main drain. It's very important you put it in the main drain, because just in case if there's any bubbles escaping, which every skimmer has bubbles to a certain extent coming out, they obviously deteriorate before they get to the main return. Now when you do turn on the skimmer, guys, you're going to want to loosen the adjustment knob pretty much all the way. If you don't, you're going to notice the water level immediately rise. So just do that probably for about 30 minutes, then you're going to be able to start dialing it in. Mine actually, within the first 15 minutes, I was able to dial it in. But yeah, just want to let you know. It's also a good thing, guys, to remember the water level on the skimmer. I believe on the manual, I don't have it off the top of my head, but I think it's 7 to 8 inches if I remember correctly. I've tested out a few different heights on it. I actually really like it at the 5 to 5.5 inch mark. You know, I just feel it skims a little bit better there. It's not too dry, and you know, I still feel you have more than enough adjustment. So play around with your specific tank. Every tank is different, you know, bioload, bacteria, and so on and so forth, proteins. So just mess with it. But generally, this skimmer will operate anywhere from 5 inches to 8 inches without any problem. For you guys out there wondering what a skimmer looks like that's underrated for a tank, well, this is it. Believe it or not, this was after only 2 to 3 days. Happened every time. It wouldn't even make it to the cup and would all get stuck in the neck. So I'm pretty sure you guys all want to hear my final thoughts on the Aquamaxx Q2 skimmer. Well, guys, after running it for about a week and a half, going on 2 weeks, I am absolutely in love with this skimmer. Just like Aquamaxx brand, specifically in the skimmers, they always hit a home run with them. So if you have a tank that's anywhere from 90 gallons to 200 gallons, be sure to check out the Q2 skimmer. If you do have bigger tanks, they have a Q3 and a Q5. So be sure you check them out, guys. I'm beyond happy with the skimmer. You can just see the skimmate this thing is producing is just unreal. I mean, this tank, you know, in the time I've been running it, the water has actually gotten a lot clearer. Everything just looks a lot happier. Actually, corals look a lot happier. just because this thing is able to export so many of the proteins in the water. So guys, we're going to leave this video here. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them down in the comment box below, guys. I'd love to hear your experience for you guys that have used this skimmer, or maybe you're thinking about it. Love to hear what you got to say. Obviously, if you have any questions, I'd be sure to answer them down below. So I am going to have a link in the description, guys, so you guys can check this skimmer out at marinedepot.com. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Happy reefing.